Thank you so much for joining us this morning. As Jonathan mentioned, my name is Joanne Cote, and I'm the Information and Referral Coordinator here in Yellowknife. I've been in this position for 3 years, in Yellowknife for 4 years, and a military spouse for 33 years. Jonathan has asked me to talk about how to make a quick video intro to your community. Let me first tell you why we decided to do this. Yellowknife is a unique posting. A couple of years ago, we set out with a goal to try and have people more informed about what a posting in Yellowknife is all about. We really wanted to manage expectations as we were finding people were arriving here uninformed. I know some of you have check marks there. I'm just wondering, can I have a show of hands of any MFRCs that have done a video recording of their area? Has anyone done one? Oh, a few people have done one. Fantastic. I'll have to go on your websites and check them out. After I took a WebEx course 2 years ago when I first started here at the MFRC, and I took it with Margaret and Joanna at the time. And after I was finished, my ED suggested that I do a WebEx about Yellowknife. We wanted to talk about the good and the bad, which is why we have the title Yellowknife, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, as you've noticed here. There's some great things about living in Yellowknife, but also some issues that people might not have heard of. There's a lot of info on our website, but this was a different medium, and we thought maybe it would catch someone's attention or add on to the information we already had. So I see Jonathan's got my PowerPoint up here. So what I did was I created a PowerPoint and then did a write-up to go along with each slide. Now, of course, well, Jonathan, I'm going to get you to go back to slide number 1. Thank you. Of course, slide 1 is an introduction. It's sort of a plug for the MFRC, letting people know that they can pause the recording at any time to write down information. And please note at the bottom of the screen there, we have our email address and logo at the bottom of each slide. Okay, Jonathan, you can go to number 2. Thank you. Next, I thought there was probably quite a few people who weren't even sure where Yellowknife was. So I thought they'd be interested to see how far away cities in Canada were from Yellowknife. As you can see, we're located right up there beside Great Slave Lake. All right, next. It's always good to start off with the good stuff. So I thought, okay, what are the great things about being in Yellowknife? What do we really enjoy about being here? So I thought of different topics, and then I talk about each individual item. Okay, next. Of course, you want to talk about all the fun stuff there is to do in the community, different festivals, different things that go on during the year. So I just sort of listed them there, and then on my write-up, I discussed a little bit about each one. I'll get you to go to the next one. Now we start getting into some of the things that aren't so good. We thought it was really important for our video to discuss the bad. We didn't want to do a tourism video for Yellowknife or the NWT, but instead give a realistic look at life in Yellowknife. Because if you're just home and you're thinking, you and your husband are talking or you and your spouse are talking, you think, hey, you know, maybe we should check into maybe getting a posting up to Yellowknife, or at least put it down as one of our choices. I really wanted somewhere where people can go and not read just about how wonderful Yellowknife is, but to read about hardships and things that they may find difficult when they're here. It was, and again, in our minds, it's all about managing expectations. So each of these topics I talk about, I touch on SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, which is a real issue in the north. I'll get you to go to the next one. The ugly. Of course, you got to talk about the ugly when you talk about Yellowknife, and that is about the cold, dark winters. It's long, it's cold, it's dark. But there are things to do. So I sort of gave a few tips on different activities that people do here in the winter just to try and keep themselves busy. And some people really enjoy the winters here. But again, you know, you got to be prepared because they're not pretty. Thanks, Jonathan. I'll go to the next one. Of course, then you throw in some pictures. Now, these are pictures of the Long John Jamboree, which is actually happening this weekend in Yellowknife. Is you notice there on the bottom right-hand side, that's called Burn on the Bay. They actually have this huge bonfire on a lake, which tells you how thick our ice is because it is pretty thick. Next. Then I threw in some, you know, some fun facts, like who knew that there were over 40 restaurants and bars in Yellowknife? I didn't even know that, and I live here. Or that we're the closest city to the North Pole. Again, I learned a lot while I was doing this little thing, but I wanted to give people sort of, you know, some quick facts that maybe they wouldn't have known about beforehand. Okay, the next one. And then, of course, you know, you want to wrap it up with some resources. Another push for the MFRC, letting them know they can certainly contact us if they want any information, even if they're thinking about maybe getting posted up here. You want to talk to, you know, give them some information where they can go to find out more about SAD. We do have a WebEx presentation about SAD that we can send them, places that they can look to see what the job market is going to be, that kind of thing. Okay, and the last slide. And then that's it. You know, basically thank them. Again, give them the MFRC information and contact, you know, tell them they can certainly contact us with any questions they have. Now, as our MFRC is considered an LCAN model, we're fortunate. We have a WebEx license available to us. So the LCAN owns this license. And we also have the talented Joanna Church, who is a fabulous guru for everything WebEx. So she's a great help to us. So when I was ready, once I had my PowerPoint done, once I had all of, you know, the write-up all done, I contacted her and she set up a tape time for us to tape our piece. Then I practiced a lot because the entire recording is done at one sitting. So if you mess up, you're starting all over again. So I really made sure I was comfortable with the material. I was comfortable, you know, repeating the words over and over again so I didn't stumble that often. So then we taped it. She prepared it to a format that could be attached to our CAF Connection website, which was great. Now, I know that the MFRCs, your MFRCs, probably use a variety of video recording sites like iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. Anybody want to put in their chat box maybe what form they use, what video recording device? Do they have a license with something that they use quite often? Unfortunately, I don't know about the different formats. That's why I was kind of curious, because we only use WebEx because we have the license. Oh, Jonathan, yeah, make sure you use a format that can be used on a CAF Connection to upload to YouTube. That's probably a good idea. Now, so Jonathan tells me that he can certainly help anyone who would like to do their own WebEx, so you can certainly chat with him, and we'll talk with him after this. So if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, if you decide to do one for your community. So once Joanna did her magic and we were able to attach the video to our website, we put it with our posting handbook, our frequently asked questions, and realistic living conditions. So if you want to view it in its entirety with me talking about each topic, you can certainly go to CAF Connections under Yellowknife. It's right on our front page if you want to have a look at it at any time. I hope this has been a little helpful for those of you that are considering doing that kind of thing. And does anyone have any questions?
So let's put that question back out to all the participants here. We have 15 participants from across the country. I would imagine that in helping your kids in school and helping out at the MFRC, that at some point you might have come across some kind of video software that you've used, whether or not it's iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, something like that. Have any of you used any of those to create even just a 30-second video out of slides and background music?
It's a quiet group out there today.
It is. Okay. So we've got a few X's there, so no one's used those. So that's part of what these sessions are for, is to share some of the expertise. Like Joanne was saying, I'm happy to help people with WebEx if you're looking to create some sort of community video, low-key. But Windows Movie Maker or any of those other options are basically kind of like creating a PowerPoint, but you can put some narration in the background or just some music and that kind of stuff. So we can definitely show you some guidance materials on that and those kinds of things. Okay, so you've got a few comments here. Joanne says, Gord was mentioning looks good, and he hopes they can explore it soon. And another person noting that's great job on that.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Joanne, would you be open to people also contacting you if they're looking to do this kind of thing, just for tips in terms of how you created the script, and just kind of to offer feedback on what they might have created?
Oh, of course. Please, anyone can contact me if they have any questions. Like I said, it was fairly not too complicated on my side. It's just sort of trying to decide what kind of information you want to get out there, what you want to tell the military community about your location. And again, don't make it so it's a touristy type of thing. I think families want to know everything. They want to know the bad things. They want to know, things that families might have problems with it when they arrive in the new location. So I think it's really important to get the good and the bad out there.
Excellent. Yeah, and one other suggestion I have, because it's worked for myself as well as many others, is that this is a great way to engage youth or children in your community, because a lot of them know how to do this stuff already. They've had to do it for school, or they just do it for fun. And they're pros at finding cool images to put up, and they love to, of course, children and youth love to be able to show that they're smarter than you. So feel free to engage them in your community as well, because they may be a great resource to have and a great way to engage them in other resources in your MFRC as well.
Oh, that's a great idea, Jonathan. I never thought of that. But even if you had a page in your PowerPoints about, what do kids feel about the community, or a note to teenagers coming in, or, something like that, I think that would be fabulous.
Okay, so we've got a comment down below. Brittany mentioned, has anyone done a welcome WebEx for those coming to your location? For instance, so you're posted to Wainwright, like the outcome ones. Was it successful? So you can give a check mark or an X, or feel free to unmute your audio. Consuela, I'm not sure if your check mark was up there before. And Gord and Marjorie and Shannon. So if any of you with the check mark up currently have done that kind of thing, or Hélène Cados-Gagnon, if you could describe it in the chat, or feel free to unmute your audio as well.
Je l'ai fait il y a 2 ans, après avoir pris le cours avec Margaret.
Oui.
J'ai eu un peu de succès. J'avais peut-être 2 personnes à la fois.
Okay.
Puis il y a des fois que j'ai eu des problèmes avec WebEx, fait qu'on l'a fait au téléphone, puis juste la présentation de PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
Mais là, je travaille sur une présentation qui va être sur le site web, puis peut-être je vais réessayer encore.
Okay.
Surtout que si, comme j'avais dit la dernière fois, là, on vient nous enlever le clear in puis clear out.
Mm-hmm. So Hélène was just saying that she tried one out, a live video conference with a few people. She got a little bit of participation, 2 people, but not very much. There were a few technical issues with using WebEx. Sometimes people, I'm sure this has been your personal experience as well for the folks on WebEx currently, that sometimes you run into issues, you can't turn on and off your mic, those kinds of things. But Hélène mentioned that she was going to retry it in probably in the next little while as well. By the way, we're happy at Military Family Services to help you through that as well. For all the presenters for these web exchanges, we also offer a pre-training session before actually doing the web exchange, just so that they're comfortable with the platform. And we're certainly willing to do that with any of the MFRCs as well, if you're interested in that. Just to walk you through how to do it. Once you've done it once, then it's much more intuitive. Okay, are there any final questions before we let Joanne go? Brittany, you said, thanks, Hélène. We're thinking about it. Jonathan and I would be interested in having our team taking that training. Great. So, and it's really not a formal training at all. It's more, I introduce you to the WebEx platform, everybody joins in, and then you just try it out. So I find that's the best way to make the tool work for you, is by trying out and playing with it a little bit, see what you can do with it, and that way you get more comfortable with it. Any final questions before we let Joanne go? Consuela, you mentioned that you're currently in the process of making that. So Consuela, if you could also share that with me, or share the web link if you put it up on YouTube or wherever else, Vimeo or some of the other video sites, because I'd love to be able to put that up on our website as an example that other MFRCs can follow as well. And then we had one more. Gord mentioned great ideas. I like the idea of putting it to music and having the youth involved. Great.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be fantastic.
Okay, folks. Well, I think we're done for today. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, this will be recorded, and I'll make sure it's posted up on the website along with the link to the video, the Yellowknife video, and the link to the PowerPoint slides that you've seen today. So Joanne, if you could just stay on the line while everybody else signs off. Everybody else, have a great rest of the day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.